Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K Now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Gal.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Spence is not going to be here, I know. Nick is always
Wild card.
yeah, maybe not. We'll see. Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And this morning's show is made possible by vMix Software, DudeInIT.com, and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. So what's going on, Gal? You had a good week?
Yeah, pretty good. Been busy.
Uh-huh.
Been dealing with a few of IT issues at home, but nothing major. Need to install my Home Assistant from scratch because of some stupid step that I took and I didn't have a good backup. Other than that, not dealing with much.
Damn, that's a lot of work, especially with all the stuff that you have.
Surprisingly not. It's the same amount of work I was planning to do anyway. It's just there's a few password encryption keys that it's just going to be a chore. I do have an old backup. I will get that out. So most of it is already.
So I misunderstand. I thought that you have to build a lot of routines for all the sensors and things like that. So
that part I do have backed up because I haven't changed that in a long time, and I have an old backup of that, and I can copy it after I've set up everything. So that's not too bad. It's just the system wasn't set up the way the system was set up. I messed up some very basic shit. Yeah. Not a big deal, just annoying.
Yeah, stuff that you shouldn't have to do.
Yeah, just because I was stupid about the backup process.
Yep, I can relate. I can relate. Well, over here was not much of a technology anything, and really slow, which is, I'm fine with that.
I'm with you. You stop calling stuff technology when it just works.
Okay.
We are using a lot of technology today that we've stopped calling technology.
Just tools.
Okay? Give you an example. The coin is a fantastic piece of technology, right? A nickel, right?
Yeah.
But nobody calls it a technology anymore. Bookbinding is a fantastic piece of technology that didn't exist before. And it revolutionized the way people consumed written material, right?
Mm-hmm.
But nobody talks about how the bookbinding is done anymore. There's nothing novel about it. It doesn't break. It works, right? And
Right.
so we call technology today things that break, basically.
When they break.
So yeah, that's when we treat it as technology. So we're getting to a situation where it's less and less and less identified as this marvelous piece of technology.
Yeah.
An alarm clock is no longer technology, right? A simple alarm clock. They just work.
Yeah.
You don't expect them to break. You don't expect them
We
to
we
fail.
take them for granted. Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
All right. Let's see what we have here. For at least the second time in 2021, hackers have breached Acer's servers. This time, plundering more than 60 gig of data. Acer has confirmed that names, addresses, and phone numbers belonging to several million clients have been compromised in the breach, as well as sensitive corporate, financial, and audit details. If nothing else, this is certainly bad optics for Acer, which earlier this year was on the receiving end of a massive $50 million ransom campaign. $50 million. As proof of the data theft, the ransomware gang posted a bunch of stolen files on Revil, our evil website, including financial spreadsheets, bank balances, and bank communication. It was never made clear if this was partially the result of Microsoft Exchange vulnerabilities that had been used before then by Chinese hackers. In any event, now, several months later, hacking group Disorden said it has infiltrated Acer servers in India and swiped data relating to millions of customers. Um, again,
How do they get 60 gigabytes of
I have
data
no idea.
undetected? It's a
And right.
it's a long transfer process.
Yeah.
It is amazing.
And intercontinental too, kind of. It's a lot slower.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
going undetected for days. It's not going undetected for an hour or 20 minutes, right?
Right.
This
is going and going and going.
impressive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. There was a story that relates exactly to what you just said, but maybe I didn't save it because it was kind of older. It's some company that oh, there it is. A company that is a critical part of the global telecommunications infrastructures used by AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, several others around the world, such as Vodafone and China Mobile, quietly disclosed that hackers were inside its system for years. For years. Impacting more than 200 of its clients.
Oh.
And yeah, but when you talk about client like AT&T, that's
Yeah, no, first of all, I'm not too surprised. I mean, if the FBI and the CIA and the NSA they put their surveillance stuff right at these junctions, it makes sense that also hackers will be there.
Hackers could do the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 200 of its clients.
But who's the company? It doesn't say.
Potentially millions of. The company Syniverse, Syniverse, Syniverse. revealed in a filing dated September 27 with the U.S. Security and Exchange Commission that an unknown individual or organization gained unauthorized access to databases within its network on several occasions, and that login information allowing access to or from its electronic data transfer environment was compromised for approximately 235 of its customers. A former Cineverse employee who worked on the EDT system told Motherboard that those systems have information on all types of call records. The company wrote that it discovered the breach in May 2021, but that the hack began in May 2016. I mean,
Okay. And when did they disclose this?
last month, 27th, September 27th.
They are about to get fined
Big
big
time.
time.
Yep.
Because GDPR says you found a breach, you have less than 2 weeks to disclose it.
Well, they can say we just found it, but they're saying,
Well, the moment they noticed something on May, right? And they say
yeah,
May,
that's right. Yeah.
right? That's it. They're screwed.
Well,
Let's see. Let's search
AT&T,
Cineverse.
T-Mobile, Verizon, Vodafone. I mean, these are giants.
Yep.
So
You're saying something. Yeah. Here we go. 4 days ago. Cineverse sued by customers after allegedly not disclosing data breach.
there you go.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah. And that's
By customers.
civil suits,
That's
right?
by
That's
yeah.
customers.
Yeah.
That's not GDPR yet.
Right.
This is going to be, excuse my language, a shit show.
Yeah,
this is bad.
Yeah.
This is they'll probably make some sort of Hollywood film involving this scenario.
Yeah.
There's a this I no, it's not Enron type fiasco, right?
No.
But it's it, in magnitude is very close.
I mean, I'm trying to kind of like wrap my head around it. How, I mean, yeah, NSA and all them, they did that and it stayed there for years before anybody worried about it. Because
Yeah, but
people didn't think about
the
it.
companies knew about it.
Well,
That's the
now,
thing.
it seems like in the last few years, with ransomware being so wild, that people will sit. I mean, a big company like this should have a department just for cybersecurity. That all their job is going to be just to sit there and see, are we safe? It's I don't know.
Yeah, it's a part of I mean, when you're talking about privacy advocates throughout the years, right?
Right.
This is exactly what they were talking about. When you want to stop the government from doing something like this, it's not just about the government. You want to stop everybody from having that power,
Right.
right? And the moment you allow one player, even if it's the government, right, then you basically are providing, you're not defending yourself properly against it. You're not, right, because at some point something is allowed.
Allowed. What do you mean allowed?
somebody that you did not give access to will have access to it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's always, yeah. I mean, I'm a, as a hobby, right? One of the things that I like to do is make sure everything I can host on my own, I host on my own.
Yeah.
I am no privacy nut. It's not as if I care about my privacy so much that I don't want Facebook or Google, or I enjoy the services that they provide me when I use them. My problem is what happens when I lose control. That's why I'm so interested about having the stuff over my side. I don't want to be in a situation where I need to pay for somebody else's hardware to take care of my data. Now, granted, I know how to deal with my system. I mean, even if my system is crapped or goes out, I am the person who goes in and fixes it, right? I mean, I'll be the equivalent of any car enthusiast, right? That takes care of his own
On
automobiles.
car instead of taking it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Doesn't need a garage unless he needs a big lift or something, and he knows somebody who will let him work inside their workshop, for example.
Yeah.
So something like that, right? So I understand I'm not the common user, but the way I think about data is always that way, right? If it's mine, I'd rather have control over it. I'll be in charge of keeping it safe, because this way I understand how the systems work. It's not because I think, hey, nobody can hack me. Anybody can hack me, right? I don't think my security perimeter is tough to break more than any other company, right? I'm not even close. I have very rudimentary, basic stuff set up. But this is mine. I am responsible for this, right? And I understand what I have, and so I am confident that if something breaks, I'll know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
When it's
Yeah. I mean, and
right,
when you do stuff like this, you better be.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just remember, always remember, the cloud is just somebody else's server, right?
Sure.
And
We're all
when you
part
when you
of.
talk about the free cloud, right? I heard a quote. It's an old one, but it says uh, something about. I'll find the quote because it was something about free lunches, right? But it was there's never a free lunch or something except somebody gets something out of you.
Yeah.
I'll find it. So it's what are you selling for free? Right? There's always something you're giving away when you're getting something free, and
Sure.
just to be cognizant of it, just think about it always, right? Don't take it for granted. That's all.
Oh.
That's the exercise I'm doing. And it's just an exercise. It's not a whole philosophy. I am not it's not about uh, nobody else should have access to my data, right? It's not that. I have nothing to hide. I'm not worried in any way. It's just the exercise of locking my front door as a habit.
Yeah.
Right?
People can come and break in anyway.
Yeah.
You know that. But yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
No,
shouldn't
that's a
be
good
easy.
point.
That's all. Yeah.
Yep. Um, it seems like everybody is either suing Apple or Apple suing them. Apple was on a collision course with South Korea on Friday over new requirements that it stopped forcing app developers to use its payment system, with a government official warning of a possible investigation into the iPhone maker compliance. The development comes after South Korea amended the Telecommunication Business Act in August to try to curb the tech majors' market dominance and stop the big app store operators such as Apple and Alphabet's Google from charging commissions on in-app purchases. Why don't we do it here? Why do other countries have to do that? The law went into effect last month, but Apple had told the South Korean government that it was already complying and did not need to change its App Store policy. A Korea Commission official in charge of the matter told Reuters this goes against the purpose of the amended law. He was requesting anonymity as the KCC was still in talks with Apple on compliance. I mean, there are a few things I don't understand. What?
I'm reading some report, but it's not clear. It's like whoever wrote in English the news about it doesn't really understand what's going on. That's my guess. I'm not saying that it's not a big deal. I'm saying they just don't report on it very well. That's all.
Well, I still don't understand. Why can't a third party, and I know there are third party app stores, come up with an app store that will really watch out for the customer. Apple and Google are not really checking apps for malware or stuff. Maybe they do in a very light way. They are more concerned that it will go along certain lines, that it will not break some of their rules. And no malware is not one of those rules. So if somebody could come, what? Go ahead.
I mean, what you're describing is the way you are thinking as a human being.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But the guidelines are there because that's a checklist that they can mostly automate. So I doubt they'll put something in the guidelines that they cannot have automation flag. And so these companies, they're thinking about, okay, I want to make it safe for me, the company that's running it, one, right? And two, lucrative, right? I just don't want to.
Actually, you had the order backwards.
No, the company safe. The safety of the company.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't talking about the customer. The customer safety comes later. So with Apple also has Apple is a control freak about controlling their customer base, basically, right?
Yeah.
It's about controlling, they know best. That's their if not their written motto, it's definitely their behavior, right? So when it comes to guidelines and stuff, they have ways of identifying, adult content and stuff like that, and uh, hate speech patterns, stuff like that. That's pretty easy to automate today with computer-based artificial intelligence and um, looking at the content, looking at what something provides. And so the review process of new apps, right, is in total control for them. Now, because the second part is monetary benefit. Now comes the rules of, okay, this must use this and this API to do this and this actions, and if those APIs are missing and it's using other APIs, it can be automated to test that and flag it, and so easy for them to implement. When you come as a country and you start making regulations and rules about what these systems should look like, they're basically coming to, and the thing is, I don't think we'll see a lot of pushback. Even if you look at the Epic and Apple case, right? The ruling at the end didn't really change a lot on the Apple side.
Right.
It didn't say you should stop forcing app creators to use your API. It says you must allow other APIs as well. That's the gist of it, right? And this is basically what the South Korea law says, and that's why Apple is saying we're in compliance because we allow it, right? It's not that we disallow it. So I don't know what exactly is the conflict, or maybe it's just that the law is kicking in. The law, by the way, in the Korean media, at least from the articles that I'm reading, they call it the anti-Google law or Google Pay law or something like that. So it's and I think the reason is because in Korea, Androids are much more prevalent than Apple, than iPhones. iPhones doesn't have the larger share in South Korea. So it could be that just Google is a lot more visible over there. But I don't know.
Well,
as far as I know, I mean, Apple is the closer system, right? Than Google. So even though they are feeling like they're not being targeted by the legislation, it seems to me that they are, for sure. I want to see a regulation that says that whoever makes the phone, whoever makes the phone's OS, not just the phone OS, whoever makes the basic system cannot lock any single component on it to their own.
To their own?
Yeah. So if you're providing a phone with location services, it can use any location services, not just your own location services, right? If you're running an Android, you are not locked into a Google only location services, and somebody else can replace that completely as a system component. Like somebody else can put that in. If you're providing email, you can. Anybody who wants can uninstall your email piece and put their own, right?
Which is correct these days.
Today, with him, basically, you can't uninstall most of the factory supplied apps, but you can definitely, right? But you can definitely use another. It used to be with browsers this way, right? It used to be the big Microsoft antitrust suite from the 2000s, right? all of that. So definitely, it'll be interesting when regulation will be broad enough about you're providing a system, you must provide a way um, of replacing the components of it as well.
Yeah, that would be nice. Is it
Yeah.
wishful thinking? I think so.
I don't know. I mean, these lawsuits, they seem to be heading that way. I just don't know if it'll be ever generic or it will be always pinpointed at specific components. In this case, the App Store, right? And maybe by targeting the App Store, that will be enough. Because if you say, "Hey, Apple, your App Store is fantastic, but you must allow other app stores to exist," right? And then it will go to a point where those alternate app stores will come and say, "Yeah, that's great. Apple is giving us is allowing us to exist on their platform, but we can't do system updates,"
Mm-hmm.
right? And so legislation will go in that whatever an Apple App Store can do, alternative app stores should be able to do as well. And they'll set up the security and precautions and set it up in a certain way that'll be safe and all that, right? And if it's unsafe, then they'll put on warnings and say, at your own risk, right? And yes, they are anybody who's not using something that is signed from the start and all that, you are putting yourself at more risk. But maybe I don't want to trust Apple to be my protector.
Yeah, and
Maybe I want more. I'm willing to take that responsibility on my own, right?
right
And
today.
not
I think
rely on Apple.
today they will tell you, then get another phone. That's what Apple will tell you because most of their
That's what I do.
customers,
Yeah.
yeah, Apple, do it for us. Yeah. Yeah. Just going to have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah. It feels, in a way, if you think about it, this is the Betamax VHS battle
Yeah.
from the 80s, basically, right? It
Yeah.
follows the same lines. This side is saying we're better. This
We're
side is saying this is the way, right? So not like it's a new story in any way. It's just different players.
Yeah. Yeah. The wheels are turning.
Yep.
And every now and then somebody comes in. I didn't know that there was such a thing here, such a thing like that. But Verizon Visible Network has
Mhm.
confirmed that some accounts were accessed without authorization. Visible is a sales service owned and operated by Verizon that pitches itself as a less expensive, all digital network, meaning there aren't any physical stores like you'd get
Yeah.
with the traditional carrier. Starting on
Yeah, I've seen
Monday,
a lot of ads for them.
I have not.
Yeah.
This is the first time that what is visible? What do you mean visible network? I thought it
They're
was.
probably targeting internet a lot. Probably that's why I've seen their ads. But yeah.
So, starting on Monday, customers on both Twitter and Reddit reported a mass that they've been getting emails from the company about changed passwords and addresses,
Mm.
and that they had difficulties contacting the company chat support. Visible customer service account on Twitter seemingly hasn't addressed the issue. Besides directing upset customer to its direct messages. A user marked as visible employee on the subreddit posted a statement on Monday afternoon saying that a small number of accounts were affected, but that the company didn't believe its system had been breached. The statement did recommend that users change their passwords, but as many commenters pointed out, and they see that the password reset system currently isn't working.
Of course, overloaded. Yeah. I mean, this is exactly
Yeah,
when Facebook was down, right? There was
yeah.
a rise in Telegram's user
Telegram,
count,
Signal, yeah.
right? I mean, the reason I knew Facebook was down is because I was on an active chat with someone on Telegram, and it stopped working. And I thought Telegram was having issues. And then when I was searching, I understood Facebook was having issues. And because everybody was surging into Telegram, Telegram was having hiccups, right?
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
so
I mean,
yeah.
but it's, tell them to change it and it doesn't work. That actually
Yeah.
reminds me. About a month ago, I bought a little utility trailer.
But
The,
just one
yeah.
thing. It's and this is after they claiming a very small amount of accounts.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And they couldn't
They
handle that
could.
load.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what
Yeah.
about the truck?
No, I bought a little trailer, utility trailer.
Okay.
And the lady didn't have a title. And I asked around, and that's apparently sort of like a normal thing that people don't keep it. And they just go to DMV and you apply and they check it. And if they can't find it, then they give you a new one and blah, blah, blah. I said, okay. So I got online and I filled up a form. They said that somebody will come here to do it.
Okay.
Last week, I got a call from somebody and he said, the lady really needs to find out about this was her father's.
Hmm.
What happened to the title or the VIN number? Because all they're interested is in the VIN number.
Yeah.
And we have to exhaust every source before we issue a new one. I said, okay. I texted her and I told her, and he said, tell her to call me and I will walk her through it. I texted it to her. She said, okay, I will. 10 minutes later, she texted back and she said, they say you need to go over to the DMV on Evan Ferry and they'll check it. So I said, okay. Now, I remember when I got it and I was trying to find out if I even need to register it because I didn't know. And yes, you need to. I called and talked to somebody and say, yeah, you need to if you're going to put it on the road.
Yeah.
So I said, so that means I can't use it now, right? He said, that's you can get a ticket real quick. Okay, so I called them. Here it is. I called them and I asked somebody there. I said, I was told to do that. The girl said, yes, you do. You need to bring it here. I said, wait a second. I
Can't
was
put it
told that I
on the road.
cannot drive it. Well, you can bring it here. All right. I mean, you talk to the license and theft, quote unquote. So the next morning, I took it over there and had to wait about an hour or so. And then two inspectors came out, wanted to look at it. They looked and they looked and they looked and they looked. And the guy, I thought that this trailer was really home built, but they said, no, it's not. This is manufactured, but somebody modified it heavily. And somebody extended the tongue, so they welded another tongue, so to speak, on top of that one. And one of the guys said, the number must be under this, but it's welded on. So I said, so what are we doing? So he said, well, what you have to do is you have to bond it and put the VIN number. You have to go DMV. They'll give you the VIN number. You have to have it stamped on the chassis and all that. And I said, okay. And he said, and you drove that over here? I said, yeah. He said, that's the easiest way to get a ticket. I said, hold it. I called and I asked. And they said, I need to bring it here. So how can you tell me to bring it here when you know I'm not supposed to drive it? This is the same here. Go change your password, but the password utility doesn't work.
But then again, when you think about it, right?
Yeah.
How do you get to the DMV with your car to take a driving license test?
Well, no, because at that point, I think you have either you have a license somewhere else or you have a permit. One of the two. You don't just come out of nowhere not knowing how to drive and going there.
Right, but your license isn't valid, so that's why you're going to
Well,
do a
yeah,
driver's
that's
license. It's something, right? It's
yeah.
in the States, it's like
It's ridiculous.
things are not connected one to another.
After waiting at the DMV tag office, which they gave me a VIN number and told me what I need to do next is to get a bond and all that, I saw on the bottom of that form she gave me, it says that this will allow me to transport the trailer to and from DMV office. So I can now I can legally take it over there. But the point here was, yeah, tell them to do this, but then there's no way to do it. Well, what are you talking? What you know? I don't know.
Catch 22, right?
Yeah, catch 22. Yeah.
I can only check if you're mad if you tell me to check if you're mad, right? But one of the indication that you're not mad is that you think you're mad. So that's catch 22.
Yeah.
That's the original one. Yep.
Did you ever own any Palm devices?
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah, but they're long gone.
Well,
I mean the company.
Palm probably wasn't a name you were expecting to hear from again. But to the surprise of many, the company recently posted some teasers on Twitter foreshadowing a new gadget coming out later this month. While Palm hasn't officially revealed detailed info about its upcoming release, the teaser pictures in its tweets make it quite clear that Palm is prepping to release a new pair of wireless earbuds. And judging by the silhouette of the device in the background, it seems Palm has taken some inspiration from Apple's ubiquitous Airpods.
Well, I mean, it's a lot of guesswork. I'm seeing the photo right now.
Okay.
They're right. It looks like earphones, but it doesn't mean that that's what they're going to.
Yeah.
It's unclear.
It says
But
for
yeah.
a company that most well known for making phones and PDAs, the decision to move into audio market might seem like a strange pivot, especially since the last time we saw something from Palm was in 2018 with a tiny Palm phone. Unlike other smartphones, Palm basically bucked every modern phone trend when it made the Palm phone. Which
Well, there's one thing of theirs that is still in use today.
yeah,
The LG TV WebOS that was developed by Palm.
oh,
Yeah, so WebOS was Palm's attempt to enter the scene when Apple iOS and Android. So Apple iOS came into the scene with the iPod and then the iPhones, right?
yeah,
And about 2 years later, Android started shipping phones. The first one was the Nexus, right? And And at that time, Palm came out with the Palm Pre, you remember? And that
Sounds.
one had its own OS called WebOS. And WebOS was exciting because it was JavaScript based. It was like, it was web ready. It was a great solution if it would have catched. The thing is, they came in too late, definitely, right? And they weren't important enough at that point to stir the pot enough to gain interest. Uh, Apple had their own manufacturing, and Android had gotten its footing with the big manufacturers like Samsung and LG and the rest, right?
Mhm.
But on the TV side, LG bought them to implement the TV OS.
OS.
So something of them I know still exists.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, going into audio. It yeah. Let's say if Atari comes out right now, it's like they're coming out with a TV. I don't know. It's like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
But the interesting thing that I found here is that, like they say, Palm basically bucked every modern phone trend when it made the Palm phone, which
Yeah.
was designed so that you would spend less time looking at your phone in order to focus more on the world around you while still providing the essential smartphone functionality. I don't remember about that phone that they were
I
doing.
don't think I don't think that was any. I mean, they definitely marketed, right, that they can increase your productivity, but nobody ever stated, you look less at your
Yeah.
phone or you look less at the screen. Yeah, I don't think that wasn't a problem. So that wasn't something to solve.
It's
It's a
amazing
problem
how
today, but it's not then. Yeah.
it's amazing how many people just walk around with their phone in their face. I don't know. I guess it's a generational thing.
I mean, it's new in the for the last generation, but I don't think it's going away. I mean, we might be stopping. We might stop to look at screens just because I don't know. It'll be in our eyeglasses or something. It'll always be in our faces from this point
No,
forward. I don't see it diminishing.
I
It's
saw
just we grew very very reliant on it.
I saw a story yesterday that in a video is wait for why look at uh, alternate reality where you can look at reality uh, when you can look at
Virtual reality versus augmented reality.
well what they had was a device like a tablet that you would hold up like they were standing on the street and cars are driving and people are walking and those cars look like cars of the future like
Okay.
elevated and people that were walking look like robots and it's all I mean you see the whole thing like
Yeah, yeah.
yeah
Yeah,
it's
that's called
live and
augmented reality. Yeah. Well,
it was neat.
trust me, we're gonna get there very very fast. That part of technology is ready, and the only thing that's stopping us right now is perception. If you remember Google Glass,
Mhm.
the real thing that broke the whole concept was people weren't ready to see cameras in their face all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Just the reaction to it. But when everybody will have a camera, right? That will diminish. And when your camera could tell somebody else's camera to block that camera, for example, right? To blur you, then suddenly it'll work. Suddenly people will accept it. I'm telling you, it's strange new world.
Yeah, that's a good switch to this. A judge in the UK has ruled that a man infringe on his neighbor's privacy by using Amazon's Ring doorbell without prior consent. All you Ring users, listen to this. According to The Guardian, John Woodard had installed a Ring doorbell camera on his front door of his home and another security camera facing the side yard to help deter burglars after a string of car break ins. However, Woodard failed to disclose the cameras to his neighbor, Dr. Mary Fairhurst. Fairhurst reported being alarmed and appalled when she realized Woodard had recordings featuring her and her voice available on his smartphone. Fairhurst eventually moved out of her home after the two had altercations about the cameras. Judge Melissa Clark of Oxford County Court ruled that Woodard had violated UK General Data Protection Regulation rules and
GDPR.
GDPR and the Data Protection Act of 2018, which states that owners and residents of domestic premises must be consulted if domestic premises border the intended area to be viewed. Clark also ruled that the video and audio captured by the Ring doorbell and cameras were Fairhurst data and that the security device contributed to harassment. On his part, Woodard maintained his only intention behind installing the cameras was to ward off would-be burglars, and I'm sure that's really all he wanted. His overall fine could be up to nearly $137,000. Amazon told The Guardian that it strongly encourages its customers to respect their neighbor's privacy and the law. And as a general courtesy, if your cameras are pointed outwards towards someone else's property, enough that your neighbor's faces and car license plates are occasionally in the frame, you should let them know. That's a general courtesy.
So, I mean, most of our listeners know what an HOA is, right?
Yeah, I'm sure.
And what they're talking about,
homeowners associations, they make
right?
all the rules.
Yeah. And it seems like the general guidelines, right, of a community of houses, is don't make any changes to the houses outside, right, without getting approval that you're within guidelines.
Right. You can paint it a different color. You can put a certain.
Right.
Yeah.
And it makes total sense that this should include surveillance equipment.
Yeah.
But here's my question. Okay? There is the issue of privacy. Where does Amazon, if they own Ring, right?
Yeah.
Those recordings are automatically uploaded to the cloud.
Right.
So here, the Dr. Fairhurst,
yeah.
Fairhurst, right?
Yeah.
Fairhurst. Her data, her image she claims that it's her data.
No, the judge claimed that.
The judge claims, right? That's fine.
Yeah.
Does that mean, right, that if I would photograph her? Is it her data? So the judge's call on this, right, is problematic on some levels. First, she says the data belongs to whoever is photographed, and that's what part of GDPR is about: is that data collected about you, right, belongs to you, and you have the right to request it deleted. Now, they're talking about courtesy. Even if you, as a courtesy, let your neighbors know that you have cameras facing them, I'm guessing they will never sign a waiver saying I'm okay with it, because
Right.
then
No.
that relinquish control over that data. It's like a model being photographed by a professional photographer, where the rights, the ownership of the data belongs to the professional photographer.
Yeah.
I am really interested actually in a different iteration of this case, of a paparazzi that does not have
What's
consent, right?
yeah.
This can go in so many directions. So one, Fairhurst can actually sue Amazon to remove her images, and that brings like a completely new set of technologies that needs to be implemented, where Amazon would be allowed to scan the data collected from other people because they they maintain it, right, in order to remove certain people. That's one. Two, right? Um, a bad actor, a burglar, right, might have a GDPR takedown request filed with Amazon to remove his presence from data stored on the Ring cloud. Because anybody who's picturing him, anybody who's photographing him, right, violates his GDPR rights,
Yeah.
right? So by law, they can
Wow.
scrub his. It goes. So this judge's ruling, while I see where it's coming from, and I understand the politics in UK, and in UK, cameras are literally in your face in the cities, right,
Mm-hmm.
everywhere, and this is something. This is long from being resolved. This is getting into a very complex situation where the only solution that I can see is that we will not be allowed to install our own cameras. The cameras must be owned by the county, and you will have
Ooh.
to file
Yeah.
requests to get the
That's
recordings,
wishful
and
thinking.
they will need to be reviewed for every request, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's you want alcohol, you need to go to the state legislated store, right? It's the same idea. It's like
Yeah.
we're I mean, I doubt Mr. Woodward here will be fined £100,000. I really hope he wouldn't. Uh, I think he will be fined. He will get a slap on the wrist. He'll probably be asked to get consent,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't know if he'll get. And if he doesn't get consent, he'll need to take the cameras down.
Right.
I really hope that that's how it will end for him, because I doubt he had any malicious intent to his neighbor.
Right.
But
Ah.
where it will eventually get in 10, 15 years from now, I mean, the fact that we do have these cameras all over the place, they're easy to install, and the fact that the data is stored in the cloud in somebody else's server always bugs me. So, and I do have them, I do have a set of my own. It's not like I'm talking about, I
Mm-hmm.
understand where where it's coming from. I have a set of 4K cameras that I'm about to install around the house outside. And yeah, I need to think about how do I deal with it, uh, that it protects me and doesn't infringe on anybody else.
Yeah, I mean, most of these Ring cameras are on doors, so they are out to the street, so to speak. I mean, he put
Well,
one on the
now
side.
no, now they have a lot of additional cameras that are not only the doorbell
No, but I
ones.
mean, in
So
general, the Ring is on a door.
that's how they started. You're
Yeah,
right, but
yeah.
now they have like full surveillance and full house. They have sirens. They have keypads. They have everything. So
Well, um, we were talking about Palm's AirPods.
mhm.
There was a big problem with AirPods, with Apple's AirPods some time ago. So now Apple has quietly extended a repair program for the AirPods Pro that offers free repairs or replacements for earbuds that have issues with noise cancellation or static. They had a lot of problems with that.
What does it mean? Quietly extends.
I mean, they didn't tell anybody. They didn't make a big thing about it. Mac
Have they
rumors.
ever made a big thing about
Oh yeah, but
policy? Never.
well, I mean, when they came out and said that okay, yeah, we'll replace or repair uh, people that have problems, it was a big deal because a lot of people complained about it, and they made a
It
big
was a
deal
big
for
deal,
two
but they
years.
didn't come out. I mean, they didn't come out with a statement until they were pushed and prodded and
That yeah,
pulled in
right,
all directions,
right,
right?
right.
So
But now, so they said free repairs or replacements for earbuds that have issues with cancellation or static. Mac rumors was first to spot the change to Apple's support page for the repair program, which now notes that the program covers affected AirPods Pro for 3 years after their first retail sales rather than two. The page appears to have been updated at the beginning of October this year. So they just said, okay, we're adding another year. There's no information if they did it because they were pushed or what, but they did it and they didn't let anybody know. It seems like, but they did put it on the support page, which, who reads it? Really? Come on.
yeah, but then again, when you think about it, you have a problem with your AirPod.
Yeah.
The first place you'll go is the
Is
support. You
yeah,
go check.
well, yeah.
It's covered. It's covered. You're
Yeah.
talking about whether they should have told the press. You know what? I would prefer get away, throw away your
AirPod.
press team, right? No, don't use a press team at all.
Yeah.
Just do your job.
Yeah. Talking about the press, Missouri Governor Mike Parson is threatening legal action against a reporter and newspaper that found and responsibly disclosed a security vulnerability that left teacher and educational staff social security numbers exposed and easily accessible.
So why sue the reporter?
The St. Louis Post Dispatch reports that it notified the Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education that one of its tools was returning HTML pages that contain employee SSNs, potentially putting the information of over 100,000 employees at risk. Despite the fact that the outlet waited until the tool was taken down by the state to publish its story, the reporter has been called a hacker by Governor Parson, who says he'll be getting the county prosecutor and investigators involved. So the governor says that that reporter that found that out was a hacker. So they're threatening to sue him.
Well,
I
I
mean,
mean, it is completely understandable from the title, right? That this governor has zero understanding
Yeah.
of technology and has a very, very skewed image of what hacker means.
Yeah. Well,
right? I'm sure that governor is a hacker when it comes
you made the
to
reporter.
tax laws for his
Oh.
families, right? When it comes to uh, title registration for his properties. I'm sure he has a few hacks up his sleeve on how to make sure the system works for him, right?
Yeah.
And hacking, just because something is exposed, it's like, is it hacking? Is it lock breaking when the door is kept open and you just walk through it? Yes, it's trespassing, but is it? Did I break the lock? Was I hacking the lock in any way? Right. So somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, you have a window open that the burglar can come in through, and
Yeah.
here, look,
Right.
I took a few photos to show you."
Yeah.
Right. And now you're calling me a hacker
Or a burglar.
just because I know how to identify
Yeah.
the same holes a hacker that wants to do something malicious to you will use. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
And
think he's
they,
right. You know what? I think he's right. And that reporter is better off selling the data in hacker forums instead of going to the government. Yeah. I think that's what the government wants to teach him, that the governor wants to
Huh?
teach him. He's probably running for re-election and he wants some and this poor reporter, you know what? I don't know if it's a poor reporter. Maybe the reporter is annoying. Maybe he's an asshole, even, right?
It
But
could be.
the reporter, right? Uh, the message the governor is sending out here is definitely not a good one.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Basically says,
I mean,
look, I'm an asshole. I don't understand this world and I'm going to sue.
yeah. I mean, say, thank you. We're sorry this happened, but we're fixing it. But, you know,
But nobody will make a fool out of me. So he wants to sue. And by suing, he makes a fool out of himself. So yeah.
did you hear about Google and searches on on a phone? They changed the way they're doing it. They're going to
No,
change.
I
They're
haven't
going to change.
Googled it for a while. So no, I
Google
don't.
has announced that it's changing the way search works on mobile devices. Initially in the US, now when you reach the bottom of a set of search results on your phone, you won't have to tap to go to the next page. Instead, the next set of results will automatically load so you can continuously scroll down to see more information.
Hmm.
The
Okay,
change,
they're just updating the UI basically.
yeah,
Okay.
um, the change will roll out on the mobile web and will be supported on the Google mobile app for both iOS and Android in the US. For more English language searches for the time being, only for English right now. Because it's staggered release, you may initially encounter some results which scroll and others that do not. But yeah, sometimes it's especially on a phone. It's hard to press the next, the arrow or something. It
It's not as natural. Yeah.
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 So that's
Um,
pretty nice.
um, yeah, that also means there'll be a lot more liberal in pushing the paid for content in between those. You'll have less of an indication
Hopefully.
when you're seeing a paid one and an actual result. But I mean, it sounds like a natural evolution. Um, some people are gonna love it. Some people are gonna hate it. There's
Uh,
gonna be a lot of yeah. Well, I haven't used Google search. I mean, I use Google search on the phone, but It's always my second step
What is your
if I can't
first?
find it. I've been using DuckDuckGo for a long time now,
Now,
and that's usually my first go-to.
I tried that. And in many cases, it doesn't find enough. I don't know why.
There's a lot of stuff that it doesn't find on the first get, like Google, but most of it does. And the solution, the reason I still use DuckDuckGo and nothing else, is because from DuckDuckGo moving to Google is the easiest thing in the world. I
What do
just
you
do a
mean?
bang G.
What do you mean move?
So I search for a term.
Yeah.
Computers okay now. Okay, I search for computer. I don't see the results in the first page. I usually don't go to the second. Right? I don't see the result. So I say, okay, let's see what's going on in Google. So all I do is I add a bang G, exclamation point and G,
Oh,
enter, and it just does the same search exactly as I did it here in Google. I want Bing, so it's a bang B.
so you
I want to
staying?
search in Wikipedia.
So you staying on the DuckDuckGo
My
page?
start point is always DuckDuckGo.
No. What I'm saying is you staying on the DuckDuckGo, and it when you do exclamation
Yeah, and it
G, it
replaces
goes
the page with the
searches it
Google
on
page.
Google and brings it into DuckDuckGo, or it
No. It
switches
goes
you.
to Google.
Okay,
It goes to Google.
all right. So it's
It
just like a
switches
shortcut
to the other side.
It's
and
like a
just,
short.
Exactly, it's a shortcut. So I always search from there.
Huh?
I want to see images. I just do a bang I or bang GI for Google images or stuff like that. So it's always my starting point. And so Google has become, it's still important. I still use it, but I use it much, much less. I use it probably 10 to 20% of the time instead of all the time.
Huh?
And it works the same on desktop as well as on mobile. So
Twitch has definitely stated that passwords weren't exposed in last week's major data breach. So they are positive that no passwords were exposed, which is a good thing.
yep. Still, these breaches are pain.
Now,
I'm trying to think, well, what's the equivalent of, let's say, 80s technology? And I don't think anybody, I don't think it's the first time that people are exposed in such a way, right?
no, of course not.
Yeah. Has anybody ever stolen data, like reports of stolen Rolodexes or something like that? I don't remember anything like that, right?
Came in the morning and all our Rolodexes are gone. Yeah. Or a doctor office, did they steal the files? They come in and the cabinet is empty.
Well, I mean, there's been definitely Hollywood movies where you see breaking into some cabinet file and taking out a single file. But
Yeah.
it's never about taking the entire cabinet, right? And when you took the file, it is missing from the source, right? It's not just the copy. Somebody will notice that something is missing. That's why they would take only a single file, not the entire cabinet, right?
No.
Yeah, there's no equivalent. It's like it doesn't.
And this is something I wasn't aware either. Amazon.com has been repeatedly accused of knocking off products it sells on its website and exploiting its vast trove of internal data to promote its own merchandise at the expense of other sellers. Knocking off, I mean, Amazon is
Like
now.
they have Amazon Basics. Let's say somebody's selling, I don't know, a battery. They can sell a
Well,
battery of their own.
they,
That's what they're talking about. I think.
somebody's making it for them. It's not like they're knocking it off. I mean, I'm sure there are some kind of licenses if required.
Yeah, no, but they're saying Amazon has internal data
Yeah.
that helps them know what
Oh, what
best
is what?
is
Yeah, yeah,
to
true.
manufacture. Their betting process is they're betting 70 while most are betting 30, right? It's like hitting 70.
So it says the company has denied the accusations, but thousands of pages of internal Amazon documents examined by Reuters, including emails, strategy papers, and business plans, show the company ran a systematic campaign of creating knockoffs and manipulating search results to boost its own product line in India, one of the
Why would they
company's
deny?
largest. I don't know. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with manipulating searches to show you. It's their website. They have their own stuff. Show it first. Yeah. It just makes
Exactly. I
sense.
mean, I exactly. I mean, you know what? You wanna complain about them. You want them to make something. You want them to change their behavior. Ask for them to have a filter out my stuff, right?
Oh, they
As a
can't.
customer,
Yeah.
what? Yeah,
They
as a
can't.
customer, what do you mean they
They
can't?
can't. But somebody who explained it sometime that the searches on Amazon are really not accurate, and they're not.
No, I know they're not accurate, but
Somebody
they
was
can
saying it's
definitely
because there
filter
was
out stuff that is marked as their own because they know what is their own.
no. It's the searches in general. I mean, they're. Somebody was explaining it one time that it's because it was set up for books and things like that. I mean, when you look for certain things, I mean, I was after the accident, I put 2010 Ford F-150.
Yeah.
No,
I know
it's
I know
all
why that
kind of
doesn't
the
work.
Toyota and all. Come on, I mean, I don't want to see all that junk. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm
but
sorry.
they don't have any no, they don't have any control about how people are entering it. But that's what I'm saying. If you search for something that is prime, you are getting something that is prime
Yes. Yeah.
because that is data that they control.
Right.
And so they can filter on that, right? So you're right. If search terms is not enough, but if the customers want to complain that Amazon or manufacturers want to complain that Amazon is providing Amazon knockoffs,
Yeah.
right? I am saying, right, the only thing they can probably advocate for is give me a filter that allows me to filter that out. That's the only thing that any of these complaints, right, can come up with as a possible solution. Amazon will not stop analyzing the data that they get.
Of
Amazon
course
will
not.
not stop producing the products that they produce.
Right.
It doesn't matter uh, 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 how much talk about it will be in the media or the marketplace, because that doesn't affect their bottom line. What will affect their bottom line is if people choose actively to stop purchasing from them, and that probably won't happen because as far as I see, when Amazon creates a knockoff, as they call, right, which is it's not a knockoff, it's just their version of another product usually. It's not like patent law is broken here or something. Uh, so when Amazon creates their own, it's usually in the price point that the consumer wants,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I get it. I get it. Being on the seller side in Amazon, it's tough. It's a tough market, uh, but it's a market. It's a marketplace,
Yeah.
and marketplace. th- n- just complaining that the marketplace just became harder, that won't help anyone, especially not the person complaining.
All right. Another yearly membership thing, like Prime, like Walmart, whatever. If you're still searching for a PS5 and are a Best Buy customer, your ship may have just come in. That is, if you're willing to spend an extra $200 a year for access. That's because the big box electronics retailer is locking stock of in-demand holiday items like Sony console behind membership of its new Total Tech program. The expensive customer service package was recently rolled out nationwide. The 200 annual service, which has benefits like round-the-clock tech support, up to 2 years of protection on Best Buy purchases, including Apple Care Plus insurance, which can cost $200 on its own, and member discounted prices. They are throwing in exclusive access to the season hardest to find product as a bonus perk for the holidays. The company said it in a statement. No, they're not guaranteeing it. The Best Buy retail site had the $500 disk drive model PS5s available for Total Tech members to buy last Monday, with the consoles gated behind an exclusive access event. Instead of selling out instantly, its stock lasted between 90 minutes and 2 hours. A relatively glacial sales pace compared to the insane demand for the hardware that consumers have faced since it hit stores last November. So, pay $200.
So there were a few people who was thinking, should I put the $200 or should I not put the extra $200? And it took them 90 minutes.
But I mean, it's for people that don't have any contacts or any good people around them to connect. It's not bad. 24-hour tech support.
Amnon, it's a gaming console.
Oh, of course. No. Wait a second now.
I'm not. I understand gamers and all, but I also understand they should wait.
Wait a second. This is not support for the console. The console is part of that deal.
I know. But the thing is, they're talking about access to exclusives and stuff like that.
Yeah. No. Let's forget the console. 24-hour customer support. A lot of people that don't know where to go. Good. If they have something like this and they have a lot of problems, hey, that's nice. Discount.
This isn't new. They had the Geek Squad since forever.
Yeah, but you had to pay for it every time. This apparently for $200, it gives you 24-hour, 24/7 for a year. Hey, I'm gonna call. I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna have somebody from the Geek Squad come and live here.
Exactly. So this was like literally 2010, 2009. I was sitting with a friend, and we were discussing how to open back in Israel, right?
Yeah.
How to open insurance policy for tech. Exactly this idea.
Yeah.
And no matter how we weave how we tried weaving it, right? It always fell down to, if we don't limit,
right, you can't have it,
the access, right? Then we will have,
you lose your shirt.
Yeah, we will have certain customers that will bleed us out.
Yeah.
Not even intentionally, right? It's just because this is something they really need, and the way to offer this to them, right, is by just being with them all the time.
Yeah.
And so that's, I mean, if it was really a real insurance policy, then with an insurance policy, you always send the guy to the doctor first,
Mhm.
right? Do a health checkup. And depending on his state and the risks, then you give him the premium.
Mhm.
It's not that you're not covering everything. That part is terrible. The pre-existing condition not covering it all, right?
Yeah.
But it's okay. It means that he'll need to pay higher premiums because there is a lot higher chance that something that will need to pay out on him. So this is the same thing.
Yeah.
I in a way, I really hope that they'll work out and people will flock in and buy it, and maybe the incentive of getting access to some hardware earlier is gonna work.
It's going to work
But
on
it's
some
clear,
people. I'm
yeah.
sure.
Um,
Yeah.
but that's the thing. Those who want a PS5, I doubt they really need 24 hours 24
No,
7
they don't.
tech coverage, right?
Right.
And so that's why it's like, yeah, don't do it for the console.
No, unless you have money to blow. All right, listen to this. And I used to be a Verizon customer. I mean, a Spectrum customer. Spectrum has been sending former customers strange letters threatening to report them to the credit agencies unless they renew services in attempt to win back their business. I never got that. I don't know. When I see something with Spectrum, I just throw it away. Maybe I
Yeah.
did get it. The letter says the letters say that as a one-time courtesy, the company will cancel debt it claims they owe and stop reporting them to credit agencies if they agree to resume cable service. The threat continues by stating that you have worked hard to build a great future for yourself and your family. We look forward to welcome you back. Uh, is Spectrum hurting? I don't think so. What in the world? Are you reading about it?
I'm trying to find like,
It's just amazing. I mean, and yes, since I canceled Spectrum, um, I'm getting about once a week. I get a offer from Spectrum. In the beginning, I mean, I was opening them to see if they want something, but it's fun, and it was just a regular thing. We have TV, we have this, come on, I don't need that. So now I just throw it away. But to sort of like tell people that you're going to be reported, but if you resubscribe to,
well, to be fair, Amnon,
yeah,
they're going to be reported only if they have debt.
yes,
And if you get the letter and you don't have debt,
true, yeah, I don't,
this reminds me of in Israel, when you get a notice from Social Security that you missed a payment or something, if you're self-employed, right?
yeah,
Uh, I haven't seen one in the States. It might be exactly the same, but the lettering is um, this must be paid until this and this. If not, you will be prosecuted. If and the last sentence is, if you've already paid
ignore it,
you can ignore this. You can ignore this message. It's
yeah.
like, we are going to pursue every letter of the law. We're going to put you on a spoke. But don't
But
worry. If you're good, we're good.
I got last
This
week.
is the same tactic. It seems like the same tactic. It's terrible, but um, I wonder if this is like all around, or it's just a specific region where the marketing department tried something really awful and it'll blow in their face, and I don't know who approved it, but wow, yeah.
um,
Yeah,
There's
it's
something.
like it's exactly like those DMV. We noticed your car warranty is
Yeah,
over, right?
yeah,
But
yeah.
those they try to be anonymous while they're sending the marketing content. And here it's titled Spectrum. This is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll disappear, but it's funny.
Um,
Funny to look at it. I wouldn't have liked getting a letter, but I'm like you. Anything that comes from Spectrum goes into
yeah.
the either the trash if it's for uh, current resident, or if it has my name, it goes to the.
Since I got the statement from Spectrum that my balance is zero,
Yeah,
that I know that's it. From then on, it goes into trash. But
yeah,
what you're talking
exactly.
about also, uh, here, a corporation has to file an annual report every year, and it
Yeah,
costs, I don't know, something like, these days I think it's $200. I don't remember, but you have to do it every March. So I got a postcard from Secretary of State saying, you did not file a report in for the year 2020, and this is bad, and there's going to be some fines on top of it, and blah blah blah. So I went on the website and I looked, and it says that it was fine. So I was in the process of finding a new accountant because the one I was using, a new guy bought it and was not very nice. I did not want to support them. So I found somebody through BNI that I do their show for, and went and saw Mark, and I showed it to him. He said, "Yeah, your 2020 is fine, but you missed one for 2016, it looks like." And they just want
mm,
their money.
yeah.
I said, "Oh, okay." He said, "Don't worry, I'll take care of it. I'll file it for you." I came home. I had another postcard from Secretary of State. That was a computer error. You're okay. So I went back the next day and I gave it to him. I said, "Here." He looked at it and he laughed. He said, "That's fine. Everything will be fine. Don't worry about it." So yeah, I mean, if you already paid for it, then ignore it. Come on,
Yeah,
make sure that I already paid, that I'm actually delinquent, and then send something. Here is the state.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I understand that was a computer glitch, but
No, but
two
here it's like some sort
postcards.
of promotional material. But yeah,
But I mean, here is
terrible.
something that our tax money is being used, and who knows how many millions of dollars, because it's not just Amnon, it's a bunch of uh, corporations out there, and twice two.
Think about it this way. You're thinking about it wrong. Think about it this way. At least it went on some mailing material and not
Yeah.
on um, some politician's pocket or some
Okay.
gun
Yes.
or
Yeah.
some.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
mistake, these mistakes happen.
Okay. Fine.
I'm with you. It's terrible being on the receiving end of any notice like this because it throws you into a curve.
Yeah.
You
And I
because
was.
you're totally sure you're okay and something is saying otherwise. And I mean, joking aside, right? I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of it. And I can tell you, as a foreigner, right, an immigrant to this country, and getting those DMV notices at the beginning, right, when you do not know how things work,
Mhm.
when it takes time to identify that this isn't really addressed to you. It's like a general address because they don't really know. They do have public records of your name and the VIN number, but it's like, okay, doesn't they don't care about anything. They probably, if they even sell you something, it's something you won't be able to receive, right? Understanding that
Yeah.
it's scam and fraud. it takes time. So
Yeah.
this is just a new type one, and because it has the name Spectrum behind it, right? It also disappear really quickly because otherwise it'll hurt Spectrum in the long run, right? Right now it's just our small show talking about it and some, I don't know, article in The Verge maybe, but it can be uh, it can be national news if this continues, right?
Yeah.
Because it'll
And I hope
grab
it will
attention.
be.
So, if it continues, I hope so. I
Yeah.
just hope they nip it in the bud.
Yeah. Don't threaten me.
Yeah.
There was something about Olympus. You want to talk about it?
About
Uh, Olympus has confirmed it was hit by a cyber
the
attack.
breach in Olympus. I mean, I didn't I didn't see anything. So here's the thing, right? Another company got breached.
Yeah.
A large company, a very established one, Olympus. They used to do optics for cameras. Now it looks like they're focused on medical, and they had like this huge breach. And there's something. This is the one with the 60 gigabytes.
Um, no.
No, no, but they were attacked with ransomware
Yeah.
before. Yeah. In this case, it seems like they just either they didn't learn or it's just the data dump from that ransomware. That's what it's unclear. They had another one.
Well,
They're
they
in
had
big
one in
trouble.
the beginning of Olympus said on the website that investigating a potential cybersecurity incident detected October 10th and is currently working with the highest priority to resolve the issues.
Yeah, so sounds
They,
like
they had to
they
shut
had
down their machines in US, Canada, and Latin America. And it says that they and it says it's near identical to a statement put out by Olympus last month following a cyber attack on its European, Middle East, and Africa network. So I mean, I don't think any individuals are doing any business with Olympus. It seems like at this point it's companies, but it's also, I mean, if the company's data and maybe it's a company that we
yeah,
deal with, and yeah, it's just, I mean,
probably their proprietary data. That's the most important thing
we
for
keep
them.
hearing breach, 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 breach. You know, I mean, come on already.
Well, just as I mean, I think most of our listeners already know, but whenever you hear breach, a few days later, head your
Talk to
point
the
your
mic.
browser at have I been pawned?
Yeah,
See if your personal data has been
right.
exposed there,
Yep.
and if you've ever hit by ransomware, always consult with nomoreransom.org.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
yeah.
And for
There's nothing much, and always back up your stuff, right? As you say at the end of the show, backup, update,
yep,
keep yourself safe.
and use strong password. Don't use the same password. A lot of people still
Well,
do that.
here I would go further, and I would say use a password manager and auto generate your passwords, right?
Yeah.
I would go further, and I would insist that you learn using a password manager, something like KeePass or Bitwarden, um, or even some paid options. Do not use your built-in browser password mechanism. The
They
reason I'm
know.
saying do not is there's a few reasons. Google, their mechanism is rather okay at this point, but if there is going to be
A breach.
an attack, something that accesses your computer, right? That is the first place it's going to check.
Yeah.
Right. So definitely, because that is the most likely to be on your computer. It's called an attack vector, right? That is the most. That's the easiest attack vector in the world for them, for any hacker. And when you're asking yourself, why would somebody access my computer? It's you will not know, and they will not know that it's your computer. They'll just put some malicious code somewhere that you would access on some page. It might be part of an ad. It might be part of a website that isn't suspecting that they. So it can creep in. It might be an email. It might be an SMS that you got and clicked by accident. It can be anything, right? And so don't use the defaults, the one that the OS provides, the one if you can do without it. Okay. Prefer something that is good, but it also not is the number one.
Because number one is always a target.
Number one is the number one attack vector.
Yep.
Always. Yeah. When Internet Explorer and Firefox and Safari were in battle for market share, and Internet Explorer had like 5 live versions running because of the different versions of Windows all over the place, and Firefox were busy patching their security patches, and Safari was busy doing all of that. The main attack vector wasn't any of the browsers. It was just Adobe Reader, which had JavaScript capabilities with 0 security, right? The easiest attack vector that everybody had on the computer, and was the easiest to hack. So when it comes to your personal stuff, find something that encrypts it in a very effective way, and that you have access, and it's not necessarily the number one. Right. And if it is the number one, make it the number one that is not hooked up to any other subsystem, right? So that's why I'm saying don't use something like the Chrome one or the Firefox one, where when it's always open and you get everything exposed. My 2 cents.
Talking about a manager, how is it today? I mean, if let's say somebody is using their browsers and they want to go to a manager, is it?
So it depends. With KeyPass, which is an open source desktop application, which has also mobile apps that you can use. There are solutions that you can install an extension that talks with your desktop application, for example.
Never mind talk with. I'm talking about getting it out of the browser and into the manager, and then the browser is empty.
Oh, most of these managers, they have instructions on how to export all of your passwords from wherever they're stored.
So people
currently
should know that.
Yeah. So transferring from Firefox or Chrome to another manager, it'll be a few clicks and you get almost everything exactly as it's stored. So there'll probably be a few misses, but usually it works for all. I can tell you, for me, which I have foreign lettering, and because I use Hebrew in some of my stuff, so Unicode stuff, and not everything passes on the first pass, or there needs some tweaking to do. But it's still, when I moved, that was me moving from the internal Chrome one to LastPass. That was the first manager that I used. And then when I wanted to move from LastPass to Bitwarden, it was also a pretty painless export and then an import. but because there are some different objects the way they manage, right? And it wasn't perfect, but I got most
But
of
the
it.
most of
Today
the
I have
work,
in my vault.
yeah.
My vault today has how many do I have? I have over 2,700 different entries, right? Or it can be website, it can be software licenses, credit cards, social security data, right? Passport information. With For me, I also have scans of my passport and ID, and it's stored in this encrypted package, right? And I am pretty confident in keeping it there because it's also self-hosted for me, right? And that's why I trust it more in that term. But then again, it's also behind encrypted access, and I can access it from anywhere that I want.
Mm-hmm.
So I am exposing it, right, behind something that I trust that will block bad players, and I have access to all my stuff on my computers, on my phone. I can share it with my family members very safely. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. It's time.
We've done it.
We've done it. Um, I need to switch to something else.
Well, you're using an Excel sheet and a piece of paper. So
No, not for websites mainly. I use the Firefox one. The
okay,
important things for the servers and stuff, yeah.
so we can.
Yeah, I know. I know.
That will be an easy switch.
Yeah, I mean Excel sheet and keeps it secure, but it's not practical for everything. And I see a lot more programs and a lot more portals on the web these days that do not remember. I mean, they do not talk to, even if you say, remember me, like Zoom,
Yeah.
you say, remember me.
It might remember the email, but nothing
It
else.
doesn't remember anything. I go to the other computer when I have to schedule somebody and email it because I don't email from here. And I have to log in again. It didn't used to be like that. In the last month or two,
The application itself you're talking about?
yeah. Yeah,
No, that works for me.
if it logs me off of here and logs me over there, but I have to enter it. So by now I know it. But then when I come back here to do it, like this morning, I have to start Zoom empty, and how sometimes you can click on the address or the
The,
email and it'll bring it up. No,
that's not how it works for me. So we'll
okay,
check
well,
it.
no.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That'll be it for today. Is there anything else that we didn't mention? Yeah.
I do not think so.
All right. Well, thanks for being here. Um, and good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie and Dana, Dina, Arlette and Micha, Eleanor, Sarid. Thank you, everyone, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. Again, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. Nick is on WAAV in Wilmington, 980 The Wave. You can listen to it anywhere in the world. Just say your Echo name, play 980 The Wave. And Tuesday at 7 p.m. Tuesdays, Nick and Brian do the Infection podcasts on Twitch, and that's a show for survival games. So Tuesdays, 7 p.m. See you next week.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.